Hi everybody, it's Christy from Funky Junk Inspiration. I would love it if you'd subscribe to my channel, hit that bell to get notifications, like, comment, and share on some of the videos. Today I'm part of the What Would You Make YouTube playlist. Our hosts are Rustic, Lace, and DIY, Divine Designs, and the guest host is the DIY Struggle. Make sure you subscribe to everyone's channel. Okay, today I'm going to take this 12 by 17 board and we're going to use our essential stencils to make a really cool hidden haunted house. What I mean by hidden is it's going to be kind of shadowed in the background. So I'm going to open up these stencils right here. I absolutely love Essential Stencils. I do have an affiliate link with them, which is up in the description. If you use the code FunkyJunk, all one word, at checkout on Essential Stencils, you will save 10%. Now you see I put the stencil down on here. I could put it backwards. I'm going to flip it here in a little bit because the moon's going the wrong way or on the wrong side. At least that's the way I look at it. So what we're going to do is we're going to use kind of a light gray, and I chose to use the chalk paint. I believe it's called Cobblestone. It is by Plaid Paints, and we are going to stencil this entire shape onto this board. Now you're wondering why I didn't put a color down first, and I will show you that here in a little bit. So we're going to get started stenciling. The key to stenciling to keep from getting bleed through and stuff is less is best on your paint. Okay, so I got some paint on my brush. I'm going to work it into a circle and work it up into the bristles of my brush. I don't want it all sitting on the end of my brush. Okay, so I'm going to get that worked up there. But I'm also going to grab a paper towel and I'm going to touch the stencil brush a little bit on the paper towel just so I'm positive that I don't have big blobs of paint. Now I like to go in a circular motion when I am stenciling, but we are just going to go and start working on getting the paint on this. Now my stencil keeps moving. If you're smart, you'll tape down your stencil so it doesn't move on you. Sometimes it's a little bit hard to do that when your stencil is the same size as your board that we have here, but you still can do it. So as you can see, I grabbed a little piece of tape just to save myself. Okay, we got all that done. I'm going to get that good and dry. Now, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to use some Minwax water-based stain. Nice thing about water-based stain is you don't have to worry about your rags, anything crazy like that. It's water-based. It's as safe as acrylic paint. Okay, so I use a staining sponge, and I usually use the staining sponges over and over and over again. I keep them in a plastic baggie, and I use them until they're just nasty, crunchy, real thin. They just don't work real well. The staining sponges, you can get like 8 of them for like $4 at Harbor Freight. They're not expensive, so you could just throw it away if you wanted to. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and put this black stain all over what we just stenciled. Okay, and you're thinking, what is she doing? Has she lost her mind? I might have. We'll just see. We'll see how this ends up working out. Okay, so now here comes a little bit of magic. I'm going to take a paper towel and I'm going to put some water on it. And see, you can still see the haunted house and the moon and the bats and everything on there because they are the lighter color. But when I take some water, because this is a water-based stain, while it's still a little bit damp, I can wipe some of that back. So that's what I'm doing here. And that's what's really cool about the water-based stains also, is if you're just doing a regular board, you can put some water on that and get that back so that you can really see the wood grains and stuff here. And I love how that looks. I like how that looks with the wood grain showing through, and you can still see the haunted house. You can see the bats up there and the moon and all that kind of stuff. So I really like how that looks. So it's going to be kind of hidden in our design. Now I keep turning my board around. I can't decide what way to put it, but here we go. So we're going to put welcome to our haunted house on here. Now, since I'm going over black, I want to use some really, really bright colors on here so that it really stands out. Almost looks fluorescent-y, So let's get the stain dry. We don't want to mix the stain with the paint because it will darken up our paint a little bit because it's just like using black paint. You could possibly use black paint on there too. I have not done that, just kind of water it down like a stain. I like to use the Minwax because it's a very inexpensive way to have something that lasts a long, long time, especially if you do big boards and stuff like that. So that's why I use that. You can usually get a quart of the Minwax stain, less than $20, I believe, and it does last forever because you barely use any of it. Okay, so here you can see that we're picking out some pretty bright colors. I've got some pink and some purple, some white, some yellow, some lime green. So I'm just going to kind of put them on my board the way that I'm going to stencil them. Now I'm going to take my paper plate here because I'm a tightwad and don't want to, throw things away when there's two sides to use on it. It's also why I do a lot of my boards double-sided. Actually, this board that I'm doing here also has a design on the back side. So nothing to waste here. Okay, so first I'm going to take the white, and again, we're just going to, really get our brush dry. We're going to do our bats of white. Then I'm going to go down here at the bottom, and it's kind of like a little bit of a graveyard scene at the bottom, and we are going to do it all white down here, and yeah, that's what we're going to do for this stuff. Kind of make you think of it being stony, or cloudy or something like that. Okay, see how that turned out? Really pops on that blackboard using the white. Now, I will say this. Sometimes when you're on a dark color and you're wanting to stencil, sometimes it's a good idea to stencil the whole thing white and then come back in with your color, especially if you're using an orange or a red. For some reason, those colors right there really need a base coat over a dark color because they just don't show up real good. But this fluorescent yellow shows up fantastic on this blackboard, you guys. So we're just going to do the welcome in the fluorescent yellowish limey green color. I can't remember exactly what the color is that I used, but I will put it all up in the description. Now I'm going to pull up a yellow color and do 2 hour. I want this to be super colorful and jump out and be fun, kind of like you were really at a haunted house and having a good old time. Letting it be scary, but yet fun and a little bit of whimsical, I guess you could call it. I love using pinks and purples and bright yellows and stuff at Halloween. So those are kind of my go-to colors for a lot of different things. Now you can see this pink doesn't show up real well on here. So this would be an instance that you might want to do it in white first and then come back over the top. But for what we're doing here with the hidden haunted house in the background, I think I'm going to really like how this looks. We'll look at it and make sure. We can always put 2 coats on. And come back in, and that's the secret to stenciling. Don't try to get it all in one coat. If it's light like this, just come back, let it dry, come back in, and get you a second coat. Okay, if you're wondering what I laid there on my board, I keep old magazines and old mailers that I get in the mail. See how that's kind of faint? I think we're going to go back over it one more time. But anyway, I keep old mailers and stuff, and that's what I use to block off some of the areas that I don't want to accidentally stencil over, because sometimes I get a little carried away and a little excited with my stencil brush, and I'll hit something that I don't want to stencil. So I'm just laying that little piece down there just to cover that up. Now you can see here, see how it's really starting to show up by putting that second coat on. And like I said, I don't want to go in all at one time with the darker paint. I want to do it in layers, and that will help with the bleed through and stuff. Okay, so see how that just jumps out now. I really like that. I love it. I love pink, purple, and yellows for Halloween. Now right here, I'm going to go in with the purple. And if you notice, I'm probably going to just use the same stencil brush because it's okay to just keep using the same one. Now, did it turn my purple a little bit of a lighter purple? Yeah, but I don't care. I think it still looks good. So we're just going to start right here in the center and just do our letters. I'm trying to be very careful not to hit those crosses down there. But you know what? If we do accidentally hit someplace we don't mean to stencil, it's okay. There is no reason to completely redo a project just because we mess up a little bit. Because remember, you're the only one that'll probably ever notice that. Nobody else will see it. Don't sweat the small stuff. Okay? So now I pulled out some orange right here. And I'm going to go back over the 2 hour. And I felt like the yellow and that kind of limey green yellow was too close in color, and I wanted more colors on here. So I just went ahead and went in there with the yellow to check it out. Okay. So now I'm coming back in with a little bit of the gray color. And this is the gray color that I used on the actual haunted house that's in the background there. And I'm just going over the graveyard down there just to give it a little bit different of a color and to kind of make it look a little bit more like stone. And I'm even grabbing a little bit of a darker gray even to go over it. And all these colors are just going to kind of mix together and make it look really pop and make it look dimensional because it has extra colors and stuff in there, because I'm not covering every single spot. But see how that just kind of popped, and see how it gave those bats a little bit of a dimension. Didn't this turn out cute? I absolutely love this stencil. I think it's fun, and it's just a fun little piece to add to your decor. You could put a hanger and put this on your front door. You could lean it up against a wall, put it in a plate stand or whatever. You saw I had something on the back there. It says boo on the back. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go around my edges because I like to frame all my stuff in. Now I'm kind of using the gray here and just going around the edges so that it draws your eye to the center of what your picture is. Kind of the same concept of why we have picture frames. I end up going around with a couple of the other colors also. So it's kind of hard to see on camera, but it did make a big difference. And I don't know if you guys can see, but see how you can still see the haunted house in the background? I love how this came out, the hidden haunted house. Again, I want to thank the host, Rustic and Lace DIY, Divine Designs, and the DIY Struggle. Please make sure you go and subscribe to their channels, and I appreciate every single one of you. Again, the hidden haunted house from Funky Junk Inspiration.